Sometimes in life, the best way to learn is through experience. From the first time he held a racket in Marietta to becoming a collegiate All-American, playing in ATP Tour events, then winning a world championship, Larry Schnall has proven that he is his own best teacher.
Larry came from humble beginnings, and he really didn't have money to take lessons or anything like that. He was basically self-taught.
There was not a lot of tennis in Austell, Georgia, but Larry was a young, natural athlete. He could have played any sport he wanted to play, and tennis seemed, I think everybody that knows Larry, tennis came quickly for Larry.
Schnall's introduction to the game came at the age of 11. His first court was a local street in Marietta. He and his friends would play pickup games, but they would soon move to a local asphalt court with a chain-link net.
I remember one day we went to watch Wimbledon, of course, middle of summer in July, and we saw tennis, first time probably ever on TV. We hadn't thought much about tennis. And we said, you know, we're great ping pong players, we can be great tennis players. So I go downstairs in the basement, I look for tennis rackets, I find two. One was warped, and the other one had strings broken. We didn't know where any tennis courts were. So we went out and we found some about 4 miles from the house, a couple of asphalt courts. The net was a fence, a little bent because people would sit on it. And we started a tennis career right there, Lake Park Drive.
They were concrete, black, and the fence was that old hard fence like you have around jails, I guess. And so when you ran into a fence, you got a pretty good lick. And then of course the nets were fit with that fence, and so your balls got tore up pretty good.
Schnall never actually had a tennis lesson, but he had quick hands, fast feet, and loads of potential.
He developed into a top player very quickly, and without a lot of coaching, he didn't have that opportunity until he got in college.
Schnall did participate in junior tournaments, but might never have been ranked. He did find success, however, against most of the local talent.
First time I met Larry was at a tennis tournament in Griffin, Georgia, and Larry was a rising junior tennis player, and I got to play him the first round in that tournament, and it was a very short round, and it didn't last very long, and I was driving back to Atlanta after about 30 minutes.
While working at the Peachtree Hills Tennis Center as a junior player, Schnall was approached by a local pro seeing if he could get him a college tryout. Schnall went on to beat West Georgia's #2 player, and now he was headed to Carrollton with a full scholarship.
Ended up going to West Georgia on a scholarship and became an All-American from West Georgia. Pretty impressive.
Larry will say that when he got in college, his sophomore year, the structure and the coaching, that's when he started rising to a top player.
Larry Schnall would go on to win 8 conference titles at West Georgia. As a junior, he got a wild card into the Southern Intercollegiates in Athens. He finished second to Alabama's Jeff Robinson. He was a 3-time MVP and twice named West Georgia's All-Sports Athlete of the Year. He was inducted into the West Georgia Sports Hall of Fame in 1988.
This game probably wasn't that developed when he first went, but maybe after 2 years, yeah, he was definitely could have probably been one of the best players Georgia had ever had in doubles. But it was also very neat to be at a school that he was just the best player probably ever play out of there and do so well.
Tennis was booming in the 1970s, and after college, Schnall began working at the Marietta Country Club as the head professional. With his humor and love of the game, he became a very popular instructor.
He understands the game very well, and he relays that to people, but he does it in a fun way that makes them want to come back. He does that with adults and kids. And again, when he's giving adults lessons, you're out there and he's laughing all the time, cracking jokes, keeping it fun. And the same way with the kids, he brings a lot of high energy. Even today at 60, you can just see that he's got a passion for the game. and a passion to teach it and share it with others. And it just makes him so special to the game of tennis.
While teaching others, Larry Schnall never stopped playing. He became a fixture at #1 for many Alta teams and won almost every local doubles tournament of note, including the Georgia State Open, the Georgia Hardcourts, the Atlanta City Open, and the Atlanta Senior Invitational. He dominated at doubles with over 30 different partners, including the USTA Senior National titles in the 30 and over division with Dan Cassidy, the 40 division with Horace Reed, and the 55 division with Tom Smith. Schnall won the ITF World Championship in the 45 division back in 2002 with Sal Castillo.
Yeah, Larry had a lot of rivalries around the South and Georgia because he was typically the guy that was always the better doubles player. So everybody was kind of competing or shooting at somebody to kind of rate themselves against them. But so playing against Larry, if you did well, you could always kind of benchmark your game a little bit about how well you were doing.
One of Larry's biggest moments was making it as far as the ATP Tour. In 1997, at the age of 41, at the AT&T Challenge, he and Ryan Blake took on a pair of former #1 doubles players, Alex O'Brien and Byron Black. They were seated #1 and they were in their prime. The local wildcard team of Schnall and Blake held their own, but lost a heartbreaker in straight sets, 6-4, 6-4.
We've been playing well, and Larry, who's at 45 years old, he's still dominating against younger guys off the circuit, and he never did play the ATP tournament. He held his own by all means, but was even better. And we complimented each other, and I think that was a great thing for us, and we loved doing it. That day, we had our chances, but the other team was too tough. But it was fun to have a 45-year-old guy go out there and open up eyes for guys that are world ranked.
It was not Schnall's first appearance at the Challenge. In 1991, he teamed up with Dick McSween and qualified in the tournament's senior division, 35 and over, and defeated former world top 10 players Harold Solomon and Bob Lutz.
He was an awesome doubles player. Had he gone on the tour, he thought about going on the tour, and had he gone on the tour, he would have been successful.
Schnall has taught thousands his specialty of doubles. 40 years as a local teaching professional has included stops at several well-known clubs, and now the ATI Tennis Academy in Marietta, where he is the director of adult and doubles programming. In addition to teaching, he also remains active in Alta and other local tournaments.
He's taught at a number of great clubs. Rivermont, where I met him, he's at Marietta Country Club, and every place that he went, he had what I would say is a following. He touched a lot of people.
He's a great ambassador for the sport, teaching tennis, his coaching abilities. He's directed fine tennis facilities, the finest tennis facilities, and all along with that, he's always loved playing in tournaments and competing. To this day, he competes.
Congratulations to Larry Schnall, a 2017 inductee into the Georgia Tennis Hall of Fame.